Let means to allow or permit something to happen. For example, if you let your friend borrow your book, you're giving them permission. It's about removing barriers, like opening a door for an action. Let is gentle, suggesting cooperation, not command. Remember, let equals give permission. Example, the teacher let the students leave early. Keep this core idea in mind as we explore how to use let in different situations. We use let to give permission in daily life. Example, a parent says, "I'll let you watch a film after homework." That's conditional permission. It's also used for ongoing rules. My company lets us work from home on Fridays. Let can show what's not allowed too. My parents never let me stay out late. Using let feels friendly and cooperative, making it a popular choice in spoken English. The structure for using let in a sentence is straightforward, but it's important to get it right for your English to sound natural. The basic formula is subject followed by let, then the object, and finally the base form of the verb. This means you start with the person or thing doing the letting, add let, then the person or thing being allowed, and finally the action in its simplest form. For example, you might say, "My dad lets me drive his car." Here, my dad is the subject, lets is the verb, me is the object, and drive is the base verb. This structure is used when someone gives permission or allows another person to do something. Remember, you should not say, "lets me to drive." Adding to before the verb is a common mistake, but it's incorrect in this pattern. The verb after let must always be in its base form, without to. This sentence structure stays the same, no matter which tense you use. For instance, in the present tense, you say, "He lets his dog sleep." In the past tense, it becomes, "He let his dog sleep yesterday." Notice that the only thing that changes is the form of let to match the tense, but the rest of the structure remains the same. So always remember, don't add to before the verb, just use the base form. This rule applies whether you're talking about the present, past, or future. Let's look at a few more examples to help you practice. She lets me help with her homework. We let them watch TV after dinner. He let me go to the party last night. Try making your own sentences using this pattern to get comfortable with it. Also, keep in mind that let is an irregular verb. The present, past, and past participle forms are all let, except for lets when you use it with he, she, or it in the present tense. For example, she lets her brother play, but yesterday she let her brother play. Mastering this sentence pattern will help you sound more fluent and confident when you speak English. With practice, using let correctly will become second nature, making your conversations smoother and more natural. Let's means let us, and is used to make friendly group suggestions. Structure let's plus base verb. Example, let's get some pizza. It's inclusive and softer than we should. For negatives, add not. Let's not go to that one. Use it for plans. Let's go to the park. Let's start the lesson. Let's creates a sense of teamwork and shared purpose. It's a key phrase for inviting others to join in. When learning how to use let, it's important to be aware of some common mistakes that many English learners make. One of the most frequent errors is adding to after let. Remember, let is always followed directly by the base form of the verb, without to. For example, it's incorrect to say, "let me to stay." The correct way is, "let me stay." This small difference can make your English sound much more natural and fluent. Another mistake is confusing let with make. Let means to give permission, while make means to force someone to do something. These two words are not interchangeable, and using the wrong one can completely change the meaning of your sentence. For instance, let me choose means you are allowed to make a choice. You have permission. But made me choose means you had no choice. Someone forced you to decide. Always pay attention to which verb you use. Also, let is not used in the passive voice. You cannot say, "we were let to enter." This is a common mistake, especially for those who are used to forming passive sentences in English. Instead, use allowed to for passive sentences. For example, "we were allowed to enter" is correct and sounds natural. Avoid saying, "we were let to enter," as this is not correct in English grammar. Another point to remember is the S for third person singular. When the subject is he, she, or it, don't forget to add the S to let. For example, she lets me borrow her book. Here, lets shows that she gives permission. Use let for permission, make for compulsion, and allow for passive sentences. Each word has its own specific use, so be careful to choose the right one. Always check your tense and subject to make sure your grammar is correct. Paying attention to these details will help you avoid common mistakes and speak English more confidently. Practice is key. If you want to master using let in English, regular practice is essential. The more you expose yourself to different examples and situations, the more natural it will feel. Let's look at some practical exercises and tips to help you get comfortable with this useful verb. Try completing this sentence. The librarian let the children in the reading corner. Think about what the children are allowed to do. Are they reading, playing, or maybe choosing their own books? Fill in the blank with the most suitable action. Here's another. My sister never lets me her clothes. What do you think fits best? Maybe borrow or wear? Practicing with real-life situations makes learning more memorable. You can also make suggestions using let's. For example, when you're bored, you might say, let's play a game. If it's sunny, let's go outside. After finishing a report, let's celebrate. Or when you're hungry, let's eat something. Try coming up with your own ideas for different situations. Now, let's correct some common mistakes. For example, let me to help you. The correct way is, let me help you. Remember, after let, use the base form of the verb, not to plus the verb. Another example, he never lets me to have a day off. The right way is, he never lets me have a day off. Keep practicing these corrections to avoid common errors. What about this one? We were let to enter. The correct sentence is, we were let in, or we were allowed to enter. Notice how let is used differently in passive sentences. Here's another. She never let her room get messy. This means she always keeps her room tidy. Try making your own sentences about habits or routines using let. Practicing these patterns regularly will help you use let naturally in your conversations and writing. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Each one is a step toward improvement. The more you use let in different contexts, the more confident you'll become. Try speaking with friends, writing sentences, or even thinking in English to reinforce your skills. Review, repeat, and speak aloud for best results. Repetition helps your brain remember the correct patterns, so don't hesitate to practice out loud even if you're alone. With consistent practice, let will soon become a natural part of your English, helping you express yourself more clearly and confidently every day.